A very good evening to all the attendees, esteemed faculty, dear research scholars, and students who have joined us today. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this faculty development program organized by the Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus, Chennai. We have in our midst today three knowledgeable resource persons of repute, Mrs. Celine Ruby Francis, Mr. Sangeet Cecil, and Mrs. Kalyani Sridhar, who are going to enlighten us on the topic how to publish in high impact peer reviewed journals. I'm sure we will have a lot to take away from this session, and there will also be an interaction with the speakers of the day after the session. So please stay tuned. Before we move on to the welcome address, I would like to request all the participants who have joined us to stay with us till the end of the session. And please post your queries, if any, in the live chat stream during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. I would now like to call upon Dr. Rama, Professor and Head, Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, deliver the welcome address to the virtual gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Walter. Happy evening to all. The Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus extends its very warm and hearty welcome to all the attendees to the Faculty Development Program on how to publish in high impact peer reviewed journals. Today, research is the core domain which determines the caliber of educational institutions. A lot of impetus is given to publications, and even appraisals are based on these. But we find that many faculty members look for guidance and support to publish in quality journals, more so in high impact peer reviewed journals. To extend that support and expertise, we approached the resource persons of today. And at this juncture, I take great pleasure and it's my honor to welcome Mrs. Celine Ruby Francis, Mr. Sangeet Cecil, and my good friend, Mrs. Kalyani Sridhar, to provide some insights on this most valuable topic. I thank them most earnestly and I welcome them wholeheartedly. Thank you all and welcome. So, to give a vivid picture about our resource persons, may I invite my colleague, Dr. Savita. Over to you, Savita.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speakers today who are going to enlighten us about the techniques on how to publish in high-impact peer-reviewed journals. Mrs. Celine Ruby Francis is working in Elsevier since 2009 and is the product manager of Science Direct Books and Journals. Apart from this, she also works closely with the science and technology, medical journals, and book publishing teams in making the content online. Our second speaker, Mr. Sangeet Cecil, is working for Elsevier since 2009 and managing the Scopus author feedback team, who helps the authors to stay up to date with their Scopus authors' profiles. A PhD student at the University of Madras, his current research interests involve the impact of global warming on marine organisms. He is a passionate Mendeley advisor and started the Indian Mendeley Advisors Group to promote Mendeley and connect the Indian author to international research. And our next speaker, Mrs. Kalyani Sridhar, is working in Elsevier since 2008 and is managing publisher engagement for third-party licensing agreements to be indexed in Scopus and other databases. Having an enormous experience as a librarian, she is strong in nurturing good rapport with the participating publishers and facilitates content expansion. I welcome all our speakers and request them to take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Savita and Rama. Sorry for the inconvenience. Like I'm not able to connect, so I could not come on video. So I'll just apologize for that. And am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay. So my presentation is visible, right?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Okay. Just let me know when it is visible.
Yes, now you are presenting, ma'am. Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is visible, ma'am. You can start your slideshow.
Okay.
Perfect, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So in today's session, the all my introductions are already given, so I'm not going into that. So just to give you a gist of what we will be discussing today is that I will be sharing with you for the next half an hour on how to publish in high impacted peer reviewed journal, for which on how to choose the journals, and then what are all the steps which need to be followed as an author, what need to be done when you prepare your manuscripts, and then what are all the publishing ethics which need to be followed. All these things I'll be covering for the next half an hour. And in my presentation I have given all the information which is needed for you. It might be a simple thing, but then I have included everything. So after our session we'll be sharing all the ppts, all the presentation which we are sharing now. So you need not worry about if I skip something and go. So I'll be sharing only important things in today's session. Yeah. So let's get started. So the origin of scientific publishing, it happened way back in 1665. So the philosophical transaction is the first journal, and it was actually published by the Royal Society. So what was the key thing which things which they followed, that even way back in 65 till now it is still existing, is because they have registered and archived the paper. They have dissemination was done during for this paper, and also the peer review process was done for this paper, though years back also it was done. Like they have sent the hard copies to experts and they have reviewed those paper, and all these are done. So what is the take from this particular thing is that we also need to not just like that we prepared the paper, we also need to register, archive, and then that need to be a peer reviewed journal as well. So that's something which we are going to focus. So scientific publishing nowadays, when you look at, the numbers are growing day by day, and the top publishers are Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Springer, all these people, and they all contribute 40% of all the journals published. So, and also you can see like unique publisher, 40 lakh authors are, like new authors are coming day by day, so year by year. So this like the publishing is increasing day by day. And now, before getting into publishing, what are all the things which you need to consider? Like, you always keep in mind that your research paper is going to be the passport to the research community. So always keep that in mind. It's going to be a permanent record. And also keep in mind that you might be creating your paper or working on your paper for any of these reasons, for promotion, for PhD, or for funding, for anything. But then the editors and the reviewers, when they look into your paper, they will not consider any of the reason. They consider these paper as a pure research paper, and they validate your papers. So things to consider before writing your paper. So you need to choose the right journal where you're going to put your paper. So how do you find that? We have a tool which is journalfinder.elsevier.com. So I'll share the link with you, wherein you can put your title, abstract, and that link will provide you all the information of what are all the journals, suitable journals of your paper, relevant journals, all those information you will be getting. So that will be a right option to use when you prepare your journals. So choosing the right journal, what are all the best practice you need to follow? Like, you need to always consider which audience you are really intended to attack, or which audience you are trying to reach out. So that will be your main focus. And also, please avoid multiple submission when you put your paper. At the same time, don't put your paper in multiple journals. Editors have enough applications to find this out, so avoid that. And your supervisors and the colleagues will be the right people to provide you good suggestions, so please get advice from them. And please have a handful of journals listed with you, so that it will help you to put in your paper in a right place. And also, when choosing the right journal, you need not worry. This is just a tip. You can just look at your reference list and then find out the right journal. That will be helpful for you. And another main thing which people will be interested is that the looking at the impact factor of the journal. So impact factor, it indicates that how many times more the recent paper in the journal are cited, and all these things will be the number which is mentioned as the impact factor. So how do they do the calculation? Is like I've given an example here. So if it is a paper of 2019, then what they do is, it will be like, in the denominator they calculate all articles published in 2017 and 18 against the all citations in 2009 to articles published in 2017-18. The past 2 years will be the consideration. So you need not worry much about that. And all journals do not have the impact factor. That's one another thing, because this comparison, this impact factor calculation is happening only with the comparison of previous years. So obviously a new journal will not be having previous years data. And also a conference paper will not have an impact factor, so that also will not have. And an impact factor of scientific paper and against mathematical paper, when you compare, the mathematical paper will have a lower impact, so you need not worry about that also. And the typical publishing workflow, when you look here, like, you are the authors, and the other two people who are involved in the publishing is the editors and the reviewers. So you always need to consider what the editors consider when they get your papers. So they basically look in whether the paper is scientifically correct. That is more important. And they'll also look whether you have put in any significant research in your paper. And also they will look whether any new information is available in your papers. It is very impressive. It will be interesting for the readers. So that those are the things which editor will be looking at. And the reasons for the rejections are like, if it is not a trending topic, or if it doesn't have an higher impact, then those cases chances of rejections are high. If it is poor language, too many self citation, that is more important. Like, you have already written a paper, so what you do is you try to promote your own paper in the current paper. So what happens is, the current paper, your older one is not relevant to the current paper, so in that cases there are chances of rejection. And also, leading scientist or the top journal, if you miss to mention in your paper, then there are chances of rejection. And the next, the role of the reviewers, and the role of the reviewers is mainly they mentor the younger researchers. So when they validate, they look at the latest developments, whether that is available, and the career development part, and the general interest in that area. All that these are the things the reviewers will validate. And what do the journal publishers do? So I'm not talking about any journal publication here. I'm talking about a journal publisher, which is single person. So for every journal, there will be a journal publisher whose main role is to maintain the overall management of that particular journal. So what do? They look into the ethical part of the journal. They look into the copyright issues of the journal. Then they look at the publication of the accepted manuscript. They maintain the editorial boards also. So overall management is done by a journal publisher. So few red flags which you need to look into when you are trying to put your papers or you're submitting your papers. So these are few red flags which will be an alert for you. Like if you get voluntary invitation from people from any publication, if you get voluntary invitation, that's a slightly red alert for you. You need to be conscious about that. And if the website is having grammatical errors, then that's an alert. And the homepage language is targeting only for the authors, so they are only looking at the submission parts and not other steps are involved in the website, journal website. Then that's a red alert. You don't submit your paper. And if a rapid publication is promised, that's an again alert. Then if they say that the retraction policy, they don't have a retraction policy, that's against publication ethics, so you should not go for those publication. And if they cost very less in the sense, I mean, if it is very less, then that's again an alert. And if they ask you to submit your papers manuscript via Gmail or Yahoo IDs, then that's again an alert, because that's not the right way to submit. There are chances of misusing those papers, so please avoid that. And if they say that the editorial board is going to come soon or these statements, please don't go with that. And also if the journals are not indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, then that's an alert. So all these are alerts for you. So please check these points and then decide where to submit your paper. And think before you're writing. So as you know, you are the author, so you will be looking at the editor and the reviewers, and please consider the readers as well. So when developing the manuscript, you already keep in mind the reviewer, reader, and the editors, and after which you will be choosing the right journal. So as I mentioned before, you can use the journal finder and put in the title and the abstract, and journal finder will suggest you many journals, and from the suggested list of journals you will be able to see the impact factor, the open access options available, and also the production speed. All those information the system itself will provide you. Those information will help you to choose the right journal. And after that, what you can do is you can start collecting the data. So when collecting the data, there are chances that you might keep some of your collected data in your mobile, then in your laptop, and in your desktop, and some in drives and things like that. Please don't do that. There are chances that you might miss out very important things of your research. So Mendeley is one example. So Sangeet will be taking you through an important place where you can collect all the information in a single place. So that will help you to support you. And after that, you can do is just start writing all that is relevant to your paper. That's going to be your first draft. You need not worry about any information, you need not worry about anything. Just write down all the information which comes into your mind, and then start revising those papers. And it would be nice if you can give those papers to your mentors or a critical leader. As a critical reader, anybody can read those papers, and they can comment on as in a reader's perspective. So just give it to a critical reader and then find out what is wrong before even you submit your paper. So all that need to be done. Then you revise and reframe your paper. Then feedback from trusted co-worker is very important. So when you work as multiple authors are working on a single paper, just try to be coherent. There are chances that the link of one author's content and the other author's content may get unlinked, so please avoid that. And always keep an eye on the language part. We may not be the native speakers of English, so always have paid editing services are available, so please make use of those available resources, or get in touch with any of the language experts and get support from them. And when preparing your manuscript, always keep in mind, as you have already selected the journal homepage, journal finder, the particular journal. So what you can do is you can just click the guide for author. Of every journal will have a guide for author. Just click on the guide for author and look into all the instruction which is mentioned over there. The very minute information will also be mentioned in the guide for author. So please follow all the information mentioned in the guide for authors when you prepare your manuscript. And when building your article, these are all the things which you need to look at. Like it's you so what you do is you just collect the your data, basically the figures and the tables, the data you will be projecting it as figures and tables. Then what you can prepare is the methods you are going to follow, the results and the discussion point. Then you can easily derive at the conclusion and the introduction part. So conclusion and the introduction, it will be easy if you have methods, results and discussion part in hand. And then come to the title, abstracts and the keywords part. So as a reader, we'll go from top to bottom, but as an author, we need to build the article from bottom to top. And use the correct article structure. So when talking about title, like your title is going to be the very important thing, which is going to be searched by searching indexes or indexing databases. So if they need to reach your article, then your title should be more relevant to your article, and it should be including the main findings of your paper. And also include first author, the corresponding author, whoever is working. Include all the co-authors, all those people you can include, but avoid ghost author and gift authorship. And your abstract should be strongly influencing the editor's decision, and it should have sufficient details, easy to understand. So always when you submit paper, editor will be very interested in looking at your abstract. Only after that they will look at the other part of the paper. So abstract should be very impressive. And then the keywords part. So always, as I mentioned, it should be searchable in abstract and indexing databases like Scopus. So Kalyani will be covering that. So indexing keywords, you need to be very specific, and also please don't use abbreviations. If you know that it is the standard internationally used abbreviations, then please go ahead. Otherwise, if you're not sure, then please don't use abbreviation. Also check for the guide for author, that will give you suggestions on putting the keywords. And then the introduction part, where you will be explaining about why did you do this particular research, and what was the problem, the existing solution you have, how did you achieve it. All these information you can put in the introduction part. And in the methods part, you can provide sufficient information about the problem, how did you study, the equipment used, mainly the materials used, all these methods what you followed, that can be included. And in the rejection results and the discussion part, you can include what did you find, and you can include data, figures and tables. When talking about data and figures, when you in the guide for authors, they will clearly mention that how many figures and table need to be included or allowed in a journal. So please check guide for author when you put the figures and tables. Also, the figures and tables should be of good quality. Readers will be very interested in looking into if the paper is having a good quality images. So images with the good resolution, high resolution, and also the data should be very very clear. When you put in numbers, then numbers make it very clear. And when the conclusion should be short and clear, and you can also suggest future experiment in the conclusion part. So the other thing is the acknowledgement part. So acknowledgement part, you can thank your people who work for proofread your paper, or your financial supporters, or like gift authors, or ghost authors. People will put in faculty's name whom they want to thank. So all those people you can put in the acknowledgement part and thank them. So all these can be included here. And in the reference part, please try to include worldwide references. So editors will be interested in knowing whether you have referred to worldwide references or not. So please include that, and don't include excessive self citation. If it is relevant, then add minimal self citation, but avoid excessive self citations. Supplementary information can be included. So you will be already maintaining in Mendeley database, or anywhere you will be maintaining. So you can put it as mmc files, or like that you can include your data. Additional information, supplementary information, you can include to your paper. And these are all the common questions which will come from the reviewers. So you can think all these questions before itself when you start writing. So that will be helpful for the reviewers, and you will not also be getting many comments from them. So you can avoid that. So does the topic of the paper fit with the journal, and the title and the abstract is in line with the content or not? And about the quality of the paper, as I mentioned before. And always see that your paper or the research work is up to date. Like you're putting in information about any research thing, see that it is up to date or not. If it is out of thing, then there are chances that they may reject your paper, or you might need to be answerable for many questions which they have. So you can avoid that. And when submitting your paper, what you need to look at is the writing a good cover letter. So when writing a cover letter, please put in all the background information, in which area you are expert at. All those information you can put in, and the significance of your research you can include, then significant relevance for your journal. And also you can suggest good reviewers from different countries and region if you know. Because in even in Elsevier we find it very difficult when like editors, when they validate, and then reaching out to the reviewers, finding out the reviewers, and then it will take a little time to reach out to the reviewers. So if you have anybody in hand, then you can just give a suggestion to them. If you have any reviewer who have you with whom you have already worked with, so it would be a nice suggestion to give the reviewer's name. And then I've given a sample cover letter here, so you can refer to this letter when you get this PPT. So editor's decision is going to be the final thing. So they accept, reject, or they will also send revisions. So when you get the revisions, be careful to study all the reviewers' comments. So please respond to all the comments. That's more important. But because if you ignore any of the comments, there are chances that it will not be pleasing for the editor when they get the revised paper. So please consider all the recommendation. So if you're not don't feel like agreeing to any of the point, then please provide us a solid reason for that, or please explain from you, give an explanation from your part, so that will be helpful for them. And a few publishing ethics which we'll be following is it's from the COPE rules and guidelines, so which is available in the link, the publicationethics.org. Please try to follow it. And this general ethics need to be followed from the day one. From the time you start writing your paper, please follow all the ethics which is mentioned. So the main thing which is public against the it's considered as unethical is mainly the data fabrication and falsification. So making up data or results recorded by somebody else, and you just manipulate the content and put it in your paper. So there are many tools available which will easily pick out if the data is being fabricated. And also plagiarism is another thing which you all know. So multiple submission please avoid. That will also can also be easily found out. And also like adding in authors who have not actually involved in the paper, that's again against unethical. So please avoid including them, and you can acknowledge them in your acknowledgement part, so please follow that. And this is an retracted article. So if you do anything if we do anything unethical, then what happens is the article will not be taken down from the website. Instead, what happens is the article will be still available in the market, still available in the platform, but it will have a seal of retraction, and also it will have a statement why the article has been retracted, like it has been falsified with mathematical findings, or something has been done to the paper. So mentioning that, this will be available, so it will give a bad impression to the people who search for your paper. And to conclude, how to when you publish, like, you need to think all these things. So as I mentioned before, think before writing, and then choose the right journal. And also please follow the process which I mentioned. That will be helpful for you. Always be conscious about your language, and make ensure that your paper is up to date. You might be starting your research in a year, and you'll be finishing it in a year, but try to be up to date. Your information at the final stage need to be up to date. And also the correct article structure need to be followed. It's again depends on the guide for author, so you can follow that. And also write a good cover letter. Always address all the comments given by the reviewers, and also follow the publishing ethics. Last but not the least, promotion part. Promoting your own paper, that's whole responsibility of yours. So please try to promote your paper as much as possible through Twitter, any social media. Like, you can promote your paper so that your paper is visible to people, and also others will be citing your paper. So put it in those places. And before ending, like, we have researchersacademy.elsevier.com available with us. It's free for everyone. So what you can do is you can log into these links, and you will be getting many presentations available, which is free. You can know about the research part, how to do the research part, to write, how to write, and the publication procedures, and the peer review procedures. All these are available here, so you can make use of this link. And few other links also is attached. And after this session, after 24 hours maybe, we'll be sending the workshop link, and also the workshop code we'll be sending, and from which you can get the participation certificate. Yeah. Then over to Sangeet now.
Yeah. Thanks, Celine. Thanks for a quick overview of all the publishing processes. So I'll be taking through Mendeley. So first I want to introduce Mendeley. So before that, I can start with the background. So, so Celine has talked about how you can, write paper and publish, and what are the things that you need to consider while writing. So I'm going to introduce a tool that we have, the name Mendeley, and that's a reference management. So reference management, as you all know, so why do we need a reference management? So when you're doing a research, so you got an idea and then you want to do a research. The pillar of any research is to have a good review of literature. So you search the web, you find the reviews, and then you get those content in. And then this reference management will help you how to manage those references that you're getting. So let me quickly share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. All right. So So first, I want to introduce what is reference management in a nutshell. Is reference management is systematic process of organizing the search literature so that it easily retrievable and citable. So what I'm going to cover is like how can you search the literature, and then the second thing that everybody that does search and also they find the research article, and then they have to store it. So in the olden days, they used to get a printout and then mark the paper, and then at the end they have to surf through all their cupboards and their shelves to get those paper again to write when they write a research article. So this reference manager also help you to manage. So we need to sort the paper. So what topic is this, and what is the area of research of this paper, etc. And then finally, you also need to write the research article. So you need to also search for the citation and bibliographics that you already referred in the beginning of your research. So in order to help in all these areas, so we have a tool called reference management. Mendeley. So Mendeley is absolutely free academic software, so anybody can use, and then it works on all major platforms. You can have a desktop version, web, or you can also use it in your mobile. Desktop version will have a complete features, but it's almost same as of the web. So how does the Mendeley help? So you search the articles from your website through your browser, and then you download it in your computer, or you just want to put that in a cloud server. So we are giving you a cloud service for 2 GB, so you can store all your documents, and then you can access from anywhere, like you're on the go. You can access from your mobile, you can access from your lab computer, or from a home computer, or if you want to use from a web, you can also do it. So search, store, and access. So this is what its fundamental duties are. So it should be able to manage your research content, so that you're searching on the web. And then how to use Mendeley. So it's a simple process. So first you need to go to mendeley.com, and then you need to create an account to use Mendeley. So it's absolutely free, like I said already. And then when you can download a version in your desktop. So this is a desktop of Mac. So where you have 3 panes. On the left hand side, you just see as the folder structure, like your computer, and on the center you see all the PDF that you actually searched and stored. And also on the right side, when you click on a PDF, it will open up the details of the PDF. So the similar page is also available in the Mendeley web version. You can also log into your mendeley.com and website, and then you can see the same structure how you have in your desktop. So the first thing that you need to do is setting up the library. So it's kind of adding a new folder and keeping every research article into it. So that's a first step of any research. So adding a document is very easy in the Mendeley. So you can just do like you can select from your computer and you can add it to the Mendeley, or you are using for other softwares like a reference manager, or you are also using for other softwares like statistic analysis, and you put all your research in one particular folder. You can also add a function called as watch folder, so that any new articles added to your computer will be automatically added to your Mendeley cloud. So, and also you can add the reference by manually entering the details. So you can give details of that research article that you're adding into. So later I can explain how it is useful. Especially you can also add it from, there is also other research reference management manager available in the market. So you can also have those content inside the Mendeley as well. You can just do export and import functionality. So like I said, adding a document is very simple as that. So you just have to drag and drop inside the Mendeley. We open up the Mendeley and then drag and drop from your local computer. So it will just get added. And like I said, watch folder, you can have your folder watch. So whenever a new content is added to your local computer, it will then again add it to your Mendeley. So that's very easy. And now we have introduced a cool feature. So you can also have a Mendeley web importer. It's a plugin, so you can add it to your browser. So when you're searching for the articles online, you can just add it to your Mendeley account by clicking the small icon. So you can see the small icon on the top, which says Yum, and then you open a PDF here, and then you click on the Yum icon, and then you will have an option to select the PDF, and then you can just add it to your library, just like that. So you don't have to actually download and drag and drop to the Mendeley. So it will be directly added to your cloud. And every time that when you use Mendeley, you're requested to sync. So you need to sync. For example, if you have a watch folder setting, then it will again sync and update to your Mendeley account. So that's a sync feature. So managing your library. So this is what most of the researchers struggle with. So they will not organize the research article initially, and then later they will struggle to search and find the article. So in this module, so you can see that you can actually have everything organized. So in my library, you will have all documents that you've added to your Mendeley, and then you want to specifically say that you're doing in a particular area of research, and then you can also create a folder and start adding the research article there. And then you can also see the recent added, recently read. You can also add favorites to a document. And also you can sort by authors in the view page. And it has all the cool features which allow the authors to filter and sort the articles inside your all documents. So yeah, like I already explained, so you need to make sure that you need to create a right folder, and then all the document that is not inside the folder will be in an unsorted folder, so that you can move them to the right folder, that the right folder on the area of research that belongs to. And also you can create, like I said, you can also create a folder. And then search documents. So this is also, this is also one of the cool features. So you added all the documents, like 200 documents or 1,000 documents in your Mendeley profile, and it is always hard to search the right article that you want to look for. So Mendeley has a cool feature that it searches through the PDF, inside the PDF, and also on the tags, and also on the article title. So it will give you the results of all the result. It will return a result on what you're searching for. So it will work on the keyword functionality. So it can give you all the research that you wanted by giving a specific tag that you're interested in the area of research. And likewise, you can also search documents. You can also search outside if you want. So you can open and you can go outside. And if you want to specifically add a tag to a document, you can also be able to do that. So you're working on a specific research, and then that is very niche. And then you can add that tag in every article that you want to read for that particular topic. And then when you put the research term, then it will return to you. So, and this is also one of the cool feature of Mendeley. So you can also select the articles that you've already added, like control and multiple select, and then you can search for related documents, or search through the entire Mendeley platform, and then it will give you a related paper that is maybe interested for you. So you can select one from the list. So this is one of the cool features. So you want to filter by a set of group of article. You can also return with the research of specific the context that article belongs to. And yeah, when you're trying to add a lot of documents in your Mendeley profile, you will always end up in adding a lot of duplicates, one from Science Direct, one from PubMed Central, or one from Google Scholar. And then this is a cool feature which will check for duplicates of same articles, and then you can remove that from, and also do a cleanup service for your Mendeley profile. So this is the main important part. So far I'm covered search and manage. So here is what we are offering to write. So So you can open the articles just like the PDF, how you see it on a PDF, and also it has the cool features on the top where you can rotate or change or you can edit it. And then this is the one of the good feature that you can also highlight and put the sticky note, and also you can put your notes whatever you want. And then you can, if you want to share with your colleagues or peers, then you can also do it. You can also say them like, I find a cool article, these are my notes. If you want, you can also add, or you can send it to your guy to add those comments, and then you can incorporate that in your references. So when you or when you're writing an introduction, you can also use them. So this is exactly like a PDF viewer. So even you don't have a professional PDF, so you can use this to annotate inside the PDF. And this is very important that I'm going to say, because most of the people are struggling with the reference structure. Every journal will have a different reference structure, and when you're writing a paper, you might not know what is the actual reference structure that you want to put in on the end. So in the bibliographic, you might give a different format, and then you might get a rejection saying that the reference is not rightly formatted. So in order to avoid this, and also in order to manage what all that you have stored already, so you can, when you're writing a paper, you can just refer those articles as your references. For example, you can install a Microsoft Word plugin, and then you can install that to your Word, and then like this. So you will have a Word plugin there, and then you want to add as references. For example, you're writing an introduction and then saying that Louis B has said something related to the midterm mortality, and then you need to put the reference in the introduction, right? So you could cite that as number 1, and then if you cite that as number 1, you can search using the Mendeley plugin, and then you can select an article that will search in your Mendeley cloud, and then give you the exact article that you're looking for. And then you don't have to worry about the style, because we have a standard styles already available. So AMA or a American Physical Association, Physical Psychological Association, APA is there, and you have different styles already. So it's already there in the Mendeley, and then you can select one of the style that the paper wanted to have, and then you can select that, and then you can add and click, and then it will be automatically added to your big bibliographic like this. So this is in the Word document. The box that you see on the below is the Word document, where you see all the formatted references will be captured automatically from the Mendeley. You don't have to type in everything here, so it's automatically done. When you are writing a paper on the introduction, you say cite 1, and then cite 1 will be added at the first one. And when you say cite 2, and then it will be added at the next cite 2, a different one. So likewise, I think this is a very cool feature. So most of you will be struggling with the formats and styles, and then you're very much confused when you're writing a paper, and you will also get a lot of reviewers comment that the formatting is not right, because you're putting the volume as issue as volume, and the page range miscaptured, etc. will be avoided. So when I talk about the Mendeley as a whole, so it will help you to write, search, and then manage your old bibliographic. And this is additional information. So if your journal is a unique journal having a unique style, you can also add those style in your Mendeley plugin in the Word document. So you can add that particular style, and then it will be changed to that style when you add that. So they call us a cls.mendeley.com will have all the styles of all the journals. So you don't have to worry about how it should be represented in the introduction and also in the references. So you don't have to worry about it at all. So all you have to do is to have those documents inside the Mendeley, and then you just search it and add it while you're writing a paper. So this is as simple as that. So I hope that everybody will use this Mendeley to make sure that you have a lot of time to do your research, instead of spending more time in writing and searching and organizing paper. Being a researcher myself, I've been struggling a lot in getting this printed matter out, and then having my comments there. and it is hard to relate everything together. So if you have a tool like this, it is very helpful so that we can actually use this while you're writing research analysis. And yeah, I'm ending my presentation, and I'm giving giving it to Kalyani.
Yeah, thank you, Sangeet.
Yeah.
Please let me know when you can see my screen.
It's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So now we just saw the techniques to be adopted to publish in a peer review journal, right? So Celine and Sangeet, they gave you guidelines on how you can accelerate your research to get published. So you can follow the steps that Celine had been sharing with you, and use Mendeley to create a review of literature, and use bibliographic details wisely. So once the research paper is published in a prestigious journal, that is not the end of the journey. It actually has miles to go, right? So these publications should be globally visible. As Celine said, it should be promoted well. So it should also attract many citations. So for those who do not know what citation is, it's a reference to the source of information that you've been using in your research. So these publications that you have published as papers in prestigious journals, they should be evaluated with other publications to know how effective your journal is. Then only it will attract more researchers to your paper, and it will be promoted well. So there are ways to do this. You should also know that the journal's importance, where you publish, the subject area weightage, and many other metrics. And these metrics will help a researcher to actually determine the factors before publication. Even after publication, there are factors for you to attract funds. So I'm going to talk about a few most interesting and effective feature that will help a novice to make steps before submitting a paper, and also after that. I will also take you through how our product help universities, authors to evaluate their research based on the publication and get a high probability of finding an effective collaboration. That's what Celine said some time back. So how will a publication be globally commended? We are all miles apart. We are staying away, but Elsevier has technology supported with its own products, and these will help you to evaluate with those metrics that I'm talking about. So we have a product called Scopus, which is our flagship abstracting and indexing database. And over the past decade, if you're aware, there are many ranking institutions and organizations that are funding for researchers. For example, you have NSF, National Science Foundation, NIH, National Institute of Health, and NASA, and many high-ranking European universities. And they have been turning to Elsevier's product, which is Scopus, that I'm going to take you through, for research information and publication data to improve implement their ranking methodologies, meaning that they are depending on Scopus to evaluate the funding that they are going to give to the researchers. So as I told you, Scopus is one of the most authoritative abstracting and citation database, and it only indexes peer review journals. And Celine said it's really better to go in to publish in peer review journals than into any small journals. So you will attract more citations, and you will be recommended by many more researchers of your own field of interest. So Scopus actually includes 78 million publication records, and I will show you in detail what Scopus holds. And we also have another platform called Scival, which is a very powerful web-based data analytics solution, and that provides an in-depth view into research performance for thousands of institutions across the globe. And this is a short introduction of what I'm going to take you through, and I'll go to the slides. So Scopus facilitates university performance and ranking features. So in the screenshot in the left side, you will see that the search result, I have done a search on SRM, and I have limited the search to SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram campus. So on the right side of the screen, you will see that there are other institutions as well with the same naming structure. And you can refine your search based on your requirements. And I have just marked Ramapuram campus because most of you are from there. So the topmost hit, as you have seen, is from Ramapuram campus with 2080 publications. So a researcher or a student can take a clue from here as to which campus is highly potential in publication. So whether it's from a perspective of a student or a parent who is going to admit a student into that particular university or organization, or a researcher or a skilled faculty who wants to be placed in one of those institutions, or a funder, as I told earlier, this ranking actually builds up the university's success. So in the past few decades, I think many of the international university ranking have been grown visibly and in prominence. And in some countries, these kind of data even can influence the government to measure the research excellence of an institution. For example, the more number of papers and the more number of citation will be, the government will look into those kind of universities or organizations for more funding or research grants. And the criteria can be also used by students when they are going to choose an university for their higher studies. And when you go in for jobs, a company can use these kind of data who will select its employees. And also the funding body's decision to invest in a research will also be based on these search results. So Scopus has one of these features which will facilitate university ranking. And you can also see here that the Scopus search provides the Mendeley data, which Sangeet was telling. So if you have already the Mendeley data with you for these articles, this will also be highlighted here in the search. So in the next slide, I have shown you a total output of SRM Ramapuram campus for your view. So you can see the number of documents, the affiliation, the authors, and also the subject area in which each of the publication is published. So for example, engineering, you have the topmost 950 documents. And for veterinary science, you have only one publication. So this is a pictorial way of representation. And this is a very, captivating feature of Scopus in a perspective of any outsider. So how does actually Scopus derive these results, or how does Scopus analyze these results? Scopus has over 5,000 and plus publishers, participating publishers, and we have 78 million items there. Items means articles. And we also have 1.7 billion cited references. So references are listed articles that you have, a researcher have been citing. So the number count is more than the items. And there are 70,000 affiliation profiles, meaning that there are 70,000 institutions or organizations. And we also have 16 million author profiles. So there are about 16 million authors who have contributed their research to Scopus. And we also have, here you can see the number of journals which are peer reviewed. We have trade journals. Trade journals is something like a B2B thing. And we also have the active open access journals. So you can choose which are the open access journals, and then you can submit your manuscript to those depending on your requirement. We also have article in press. For those who do not know what article in press is, it is the previous stage of getting an article published in a journal. Actually, it will be selected, but it will be in, it will not be assigned with a volume number or issue number, and that is a pre-stage of an article. And we also cover conferences. We have book series, and we have standalone books and many more. So this is how Scopus derived the results which I showed you here. So I will take you through the author metrics. So, one second. With this massive volume of data, you can actually find out your what to read, and you can also determine which area of subject you can choose, and you can where to track those journals, the journal's efficacy, and also you can find the current research in which university your area of research is being promoted and things like that. So this is an author metrics result from Scopus. This is also one of the authors from Ramapuram campus whose name is Kavita. So she has published 46 documents, and these 46 documents have got 271 citations. And H index is 7 for this particular author. I will talk about the H index in the next slide. And you can also see the most number of contributed topics and also the year those topics were published. So this is one snapshot where you can find about an author. So you also have a pictorial representation of how the documents are published and how the citations are. And sorry. And you have another very interesting feature called co-authors. So this is where you can see a researcher or an affiliation to this particular author, where this particular author has been collaborated. So if any of the co-authors publication fall into your own area of interest or research, you can reach out to them and collaborate with them. So this is how Scopus brings crucial data to you, even when we are wide apart. And there is also a feature called preprints, which I talked about earlier. This will show actually the current research pattern of this particular author. If there are preprints, then it means that this particular author is in research currently, and there will be manuscripts accepted by that author. So you will know that this author is currently in research, and then it is good to collaborate with this author. If there are no preprints, or if the articles published is of previous years, for example, the author has not at all published for quite some time, then it is no point in collaborating with that particular author, because we are all looking for current research, right? So that is one important feature that Scopus can provide you this insight. So I talked about H index of that particular author. H index actually is to compare the productivity and impact of the articles. So the number of citations received for these articles are in a descending order, and there is a graph that goes 45 degrees, and this is where it meets the number of publications and the citation. So Scopus has an inbuilt algorithm that calculates this, and for this particular author we have 7. H index is 7. And I also mentioned that the ranking organization sees Scopus as the benchmark for funding release, right? So this is one of the most important metrics that major funding bodies look into before they grant any fund for this particular author or research. And I also showed you a snapshot of SRM. So this is a snapshot of this particular author. You can also see the number of sources that this particular author has contributed to, and number of documents that she has published in these journals. And this is the pictorial representation of where these documents came from. And you also have the type of article. So be it a review article, be it a conference proceeding, be it an article or an editorial. So the types of article is also captured here. And you can also see the number, the year representation of years in which the particular author has published her journal. And this is also the subject area that you can see here. This is the H index, the citations, and the co-authors. So here you will see the number of authors, the author name, and the number of times this author has collaborated with this particular author. So you can reach out to them or you can collaborate with them easily. And I also talked about the funding sponsors. So Scopus actually provides this very interesting feature to the funding organization. So a search on this affiliation will provide you the funding trend. So for example, the SRM Institute of Technology Ramapuram campus has had funding from the Department of Science and Technology, Government of Kerala for 6 times. And the ICMR has provided funding for 5 times. And this particular organization 5 times. So based on this result, you can actually choose the area of research, or you can actually reach those organizations for funding. And also if required, you can actually alter your area of study based on the requirement of the funding body. So this is actually a very, very critical and interesting feature of Scopus for ranking institutions. So this is again a feature for articles, citation benchmarking. So this shows that the citation received by this document is compared with the average of the other similar documents. So you have the 71 percentile for this particular document. So this document, I think I got it from a journal of alloys and compound as an example. So this means that it has the 29th place from the top. You have to calculate the percentile based on the from the top. So this particular this particular document is in the 29th position. So again, we need not worry much about how it is being calculated, because Scopus has its own inbuilt algorithms. So just know that these are the features that the major universities and the ranking institution look into when they are going to release a funding. And this is another feature in Scopus where you can see the weightage of your area of research. So this shows that the citation when compared to similar documents in the same area of research. So if a value of this metric is more than 1, then it denotes that you are a superb author contributing to the most wanted research, and anything greater than 1 means that you are the most wanted author. Again, another very, very prominent feature in Scopus is Saival's topic of prominence. I told you that there is another powerful web solution which calculates analysis based on the topics of research and field of study. So this actually, this is integrated into Scopus recently. So this is a collection of documents that has a common interest. For example, this particular author has a very prominent topic called photocatalytic activity and zinc oxide nanoparticle. So anybody who is searching for these particular keywords, they can retrieve these articles. So Saival has analyzed, and it has given these topics as the topic of prominence for this particular author. So we also know that there are new areas of studies, that is the new topics surface more and more now. And also we know that the topics are dynamic now, and they also evolve every day. So in today's research, you have a very wide range of landscape, and it's vast. And also you will agree that these topics are multidisciplinary. Say, for the past 10 years, there are collaboration with various departments, meaning that there are multidisciplinary research. So this particular feature from Scopus will help you to reach out to those authors, or we can actually search which are the multiple disciplinary area of study, and it is very, very useful for the researchers to reach out to that particular journal or the author. So now, as I told you, this feature is captured in Scopus. This page that you are seeing is from Scopus, because Scival is another platform, as I told you earlier. Another very interesting feature that Scopus has is plum metrics. So actually, it provides insight into the ways of people interact with individual pieces of research in an online environment. So there are a few fields of interest. The authors can track these features like citations, usage, captures, mention, and social media. I will just take you briefly to what it is. Citations, as I told you earlier, it's a reference to your research source. So this category contains both traditional citations and such as Scopus and also Web of Science. There are other examples like cross-ref and patent citation. So this plum matrix is now incorporated into Scopus, and so you will also see where are the other citation platforms that this particular article is cited into. And the next feature called usage. This is something like, it's a signal if anyone is interested or is reading your article or otherwise using your research. For example, there are APIs to show how many links, how many clicks you have done for that particular article, or how many downloads there have been for an article, or how many views there had been for this particular article. So, for example, you would have noticed from in some of the journal website that you are the nth user for this document, or you are the nth user of this website. So these are the APIs that is integrated into Scopus. So you will know how many people are using your reference material. Then the capture feature. This also indicates when someone wants to come back to you after some time. So Sangeet actually mentioned about a feature in Mendeley where you can actually pull in reference material and then you can get back to them at a later stage. So this is also one of the most interesting feature where you can try to collaborate with other researchers at a later date for future collaboration. Then another feature called mention. So this is also a measurement of activity, such as in newspaper articles or blog spots about your research. So actually it tells the people that you are truly engaging in research, and you might know that there are many blog posts there you can have comments in that, and you can have reviews in that, and also there is most popular Wikipedia references and news media. So if your research is in news media and that particular research is being captured in any of your article indexed in Scopus, it will have that tag into its document search. So that is very what to say, very special feature in Scopus. So another one is the social media. So you all know that there might be many tweets, and you can share your article in Facebook. So you can track your Facebook likes, etc. And actually, this is a measure buzz and attention. It will also show you how well your piece of research is being promoted. So as Celine mentioned, promotion of your own research material is too important. You can use these features, and Scopus actually tracks your research in these types of features. So I'm going to just give you a snapshot of one of the articles. So if you go into the article after you do your basic search, you can see that there are there are 6 citations for this particular article. So you have 3 usages. So I said usages is a signal that there are these many of downloads, or these many number of views or clicks, something like that. So there are three usages for this, and there are 27 captures. So probably 27 of other researchers would have captured this particular article via Mendeley or some other source. So this is how you can gauge actually an article and how effectively it is being used worldwide. And here you can see citations. I told you another citation base is Crossref and also Web of Science. So this particular article has been cited in Crossref, and EBSCO. There is a platform called EBSCO. This is also viewed in EBSCO, and there are 27 Mendeley readers for this particular author. So this is how the analysis of this particular article is seen in Scopus. So these are the most important features that a researcher or a student or a faculty can look into. It can be used even before publication or after publication to promote yourself. So this is what I wanted to share. If you have any questions.
Walter?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thanks to all the resource persons of the day. I'm sure most of the participants had a lot to take away from the sessions. I kindly request the participants to post your queries, if any, in the chat box, or you can also unmute your mics and you can ask your questions. Meanwhile, while those questions are coming in, I would like to put in a question, man, quickly to you. Just suppose that I have chosen a journal to publish in. What would you say is the most important thing I need to look for in the journal before I submit my article for publication? How do I finalize that particular journal as a good choice for publishing in?
Celine, will you please take it up? Celine, you're on mute. Celine? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
Sangeet,
I think Celine has already shared about the journal suggestion. So where you can
Yeah.
search the journal. So the things that you can select, even in the journal finder, you can find the time that the paper gets published. So 45 days or 60 days, how long it will take to publish. And the
Yes,
second
yes.
thing is the citation source. So it determine on where you have to put in there. So like you are an early researcher, then you should not choose a high cited journal. So you need to go for a mid to low cited journal. So if you are a researcher, like kind of you already published like 10 or 5 to 10 papers, then you can go mid or high citation. So this is very important that you need to choose a right journal at that time. You need to select on the right citation metrics. And you can also see what are the relevancy of your particular topic to the scope of that publication. So that's very, very important. So most of the people will miss that out. So they know what is their study is, but they don't choose the right journal by just seeing one or two keywords in the scope of the journal. So that will make a tremendous a change in the journal approach itself, and then you might end up in rejecting your publication, and they might also suggest for a different journal in some cases, but most of the cases you will end up in rejection as the scope is not actually or directly linked to your scope. So these are the three things pretty much covered that you need to look into, but I urge you to use the Scopus, the journal finder, and put your research article that you already published and then search. Okay, you can put either an abstract or an article title and then find journal, and you will get the list of journals that is appropriate for your research, and then you can also see that the journal that you're already publishing is also popping up there. So That's how you need to go about it. So I think it is powered by a lot of data, and it's powered by Scopus data, and also it will support you a lot. So I urge every researchers to use that journal finder to give a relevant suggestions. It also looks in different metrics. So not only the three metrics I've talked about, it also compare on different metrics. Yeah.
Thank
Selling,
you,
you want to
Sangeet.
add?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeet. So even I would suggest that you can go with the journal finder and then look for your relevant thing. Yeah.
Uh, Mr. Preetham has asked, what is the maximum number of how many authors do you think would be the maximum in a research paper? Is there any limit to the number of authors
Hmm.
who
No.
can
No.
publish a particular paper?
No, we call it a paper as a ton authors where we saw like 1,000 authors in a paper. So that normally happens when you are adding a research group. For example, you have a big research network, you can add a number of articles, but mostly there is no limit as such, but it depends upon, sometimes the journal might give you a limitation there, but not all journals. Some journals will give you a limitation, but I'm not sure about there is a limit. I don't hear that term that there's a limit in authors. But we also do
Yeah.
some papers with tons of authors.
I think the guide
Thank
for
you. Thank
author
you.
will tell you the
Yes.
limitations.
Yes. Yes.
The guide for authors. The guide for
Yeah.
authors will be able to. A question by Ashwini. Is it easy to access Mendeley through the app? Are all the features, I think that's what she means, are all the features
Yeah.
of Mendeley available in the app, through the app?
Not all the features, a few features you might miss out in the app, but we are currently working on to add all the features that you see on the web and also desktop. But I think it's the best thing is to have all the different format, like you can use the web. If you're using a web from your mobile, then that you can have the same access as you see it on your device. But app has some limited features, uh, but maybe I can also check that for you and get back to you. You can drop us an email.
Then I think this is one of the questions I've already answered. Is Mendeley free for all
Yes.
researchers? It
Yeah,
is a
Mendeley is
free
free for all the
source.
researchers. Yeah, all the researchers, and even a non-researcher can also create an account. It's just a free. You will get 2 GB space, just like a Google or Gmail. But the only thing is that you want an extra space, then you have to subscribe for a premium version. So, but that depends upon the usage that you're going to do.
Okay. A question by Nanda. Does LC accept research papers in English language teaching, English language teaching and literature?
What
Does
is it?
Hello.
Elsevier accept research papers? Yes, yes,
Do you have
Celine.
arts and humanities paper in Elsevier? I think that's what the question is for English.
For hello. It's not audible. It's hello.
It is
Yes.
audible now. Yes, go ahead now.
No, no. I mean the question was
The
not audible to
question
me.
is, does Elsevier accept research papers in English language teaching and literature?
Yeah, I don't think so because it's basically scientific, technical, and mathematical things which Elsevier focuses. So I don't think they do, but maybe we can check on that. Yeah.
I think even the journal finder will give you an instant answer.
Okay,
Yeah, you
okay.
can check that on the journal finder as well.
There's a question by Professor Galayat, who's a regular participant of our programs, whether references are to be quoted in this mode. He has posted uh, a quote in the chat stream. A thing of beauty is a joy forever by Keats, and he has put a sort of referencing
Yeah, I think the bibliographic or references is based on the journal. So what format that they are accepting. So this is one of the way of representing the references, but it depends upon the journal. So if what style the journal is actually accepting, that you need to understand. For in the for example in the Mendeley, you can choose actually the journal name, and then it will be automatically taken care of the reference structure that it would accept actually. So you don't have to worry about the exact structure. But this reference type is not fixed for all journals. They follow a different styles.
Okay.
Again, you can check that in the guide for authors. So that
Right.
will help
Right.
you.
We have time for a couple of questions, sir. Can you please explain H index?
Yeah, it is actually an algorithm integrated into Scopus. I'm also not too proficient in handling those algorithms, but you, but it is basically the number of articles, the highest number of articles with the highest citation. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's you can
it's basically the author level metric that they do for citation impact as well as the productivity of the
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
so
Can I?
so
Yeah. I can add a few things. Maybe in simple terms, it is just a document number of document that you published, and then number of citation each document gets. When you draw it in a graph, and then if you put a 45-degree angle in your graph in the graph, and then you will cut through the line, and that number is actually a H index.
H index.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
so
there
the
any
number of
difference?
papers with the sorry,
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
the number of papers with the number of highest number of citations. For example, in the screenshot I showed you, there were around 46 or 48 documents. So the H index of that particular author was 7. So if you have taken 49 into consideration, I think the 7 was derived on those basis. So we need not worry about how it is
Okay.
calculated, but we have an integrated algorithm.
Yeah, one thing that we need to be very
Okay.
careful of H index is that we cannot compare with different disciplines, or you cannot compare with the same, even with the same disciplines also you can't compare. You can only compare with a similar research. I think that will be
Yeah.
more appropriate. So you cannot use that, use this as a metric to compare engineering and a medicine, or engineering, electrical and a mechanical engineering. So you need to compare like uh, two-person is working on a transformers, maybe you can compare that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. As a final question, could we take up the difference between site score and impact factor asked by Madam Ambika? It's site
Okay.
score
Site
and
score
impact
is for
factor.
yeah.
yeah. Site score is for the articles, and impact factor is for a journal. So these are the two benchmarks, and impact factor is calculated by Web of Science, and Scopus has a different kind of metrics where you gauge a journal that is called SNIP. I think whatever research material that we are going to share with you after the presentation, sorry, you will
uh,
be able to have a more detailed explanation on that. So basically, citations is for documents, that is the research papers, and the impact factor is for the whole journal.
Yeah, so the
The whole
impact
journey.
factor and the citation score calculation slightly differs. Like for the citation score, the quality indicator was it was actually implemented recently, like somewhere in 2017 or something, that was introduced. And what they do is it will be like all the articles published in the past 3 years and all the citations of the articles published in those 3 years will be calculated. So in the impact factor, it is all the articles of the previous years will be compared, but in citation score, it is like all the articles published in the past 3 years, and the citation of that particular year also will be calculated. So it's a slight difference. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening responses to the questions. With that, we come to the end of the Q&A session. I would like to pass the forum over to the professor and head, Dr. V. Rama, to give your comments, ma'am.
Thank you, Walter, and the three of you. Thanks a ton.
Thank
That
you.
was a load of, I mean, an ocean of information that we actually got. We couldn't gulp it in 1 hour's time. So I think I have to thank you because you're going to send all the
Yes, yes.
material to us so that we can, sit back and relax and look at the whole thing and make use of the entire information. So, and my special thanks to Kalyani for being thoughtful and highlighting SRM Ramapuram's research status and database. We were actually, Kalyani, very excited to see that because we've never done that kind of database research earlier. So, so nice of you, and thank you so much for that. Thanks to Mrs. Celine and thanks to Mr. Sangeet also. So that was a wonderful session. I don't have to tell that because this is what researchers are actually looking for. So thanks once again, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rama. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah, I also thank Sangeet and Celine to have joined this
Yeah.
session. Thank you for the
Yeah.
participants as well and for
Thank
the
you.
panelists.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the opportunity.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. Good
we
night.
move on to the final formal vote of thanks,
We
ma'am.
just have a formal vote of thanks.
Oh,
Please
sorry.
wait for that. Yes, please wait for that.
Once again, Celine, can
Thank
you
you.
just share that you will be sending a survey and also people can
Yeah.
generate their certificates?
Yes, yes. We will be it will take 24 hours for us to generate those certificates. So what you can do is just wait, give us one more day. So probably by end of the day tomorrow, we'll be sending the details, and it will have a small survey. Just fill in those details and just create a username and password, and then you can download your own certificates. So we have customized the certificates with SRM logo, and also you'll have the certificate from the Elsevier. So all it is a combination of both. So please make use of that. Thank you so much for everyone. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to request Dr. Nagamani ma'am to deliver the full vote. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Walter. It is a great and proud moment to propose vote of thanks on behalf of the Department of English and Other Foreign Languages, SRMIST Ramapuram, Chennai. Thanks to the God Almighty and the continuous encouragement we have from the institution, we have come to the close of the great event. It is hard finding words to appreciate the wonderful academic treasure that has been shared here by the three musketeers. The entire session turned out to be one of enlightenment, clarifying the perplexing questions the researchers face when they try to get their papers published. Getting authentic information from a forum like Elsevier related to the challenges in paper publication is not an easy grab available for all. If Mrs. Selin threw light on the publication ethics and nuances, Mr. Cecil's talk offered a wonderful insight for the researchers. And needless to say, Mrs. Kalyani Sridhar focused on practical suggestions to make our publication a standard one. Our gratitude is due unto all the three stalwarts for having spared their valuable time this wonderful evening. I place on record my sincere thanks to our esteemed head of the department, who is always with us in all our endeavors. I thank our colleagues, Dr. Savita and Dr. Walter, for bringing in such an event with a highly demanding topic. I thank my loving colleague, Preeta, for her coordination. I thank all our faculty members and the teaching fraternity from other colleges for their participation and their sincere and bounteous commendation. Thank you, one and all. Hope to meet you in yet another promising event. Thank you once again.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Sangeet. And
Thank you.
bye,
Thank you so much.
Kalyani.
Thank you.
Bye, bye.
Bye bye.
Walter, shall I leave?